That was all for naught. That's so not. Uh, so guys, nothing in particular. I did go read. I don't know if it was you, Mike, yesterday who was talking about the lady in Florida who was in charge of the COVID live dashboard to see where everything was told to go change a whole bunch of data so they'd feel safe.
I saw that. Yeah.
That's really crazy. So they said, we're not going to need your services anymore. After
Just,
she said she.
uh, that's
One
first rate
of the biggest
censorship.
casualties of COVID has been truth.
Yeah, it's exposed a lot. It's exposed a lot of, not just how we're unprepared, but, who people are. It's amazing. I did send you guys, it just came in, something on non-contact warning.
I read that. That was great.
Yeah, cash, I'm not going to die, but I even kind of feel squirrely just grabbing it from somebody. I mean, I don't know what it is, just,
Or even just hitting the button on the credit card thing.
Yeah. The gas station freaks me out. Not freaks me out, but I've got dog bags, a roll of dog bags in my console.
Yeah.
I don't
Buddy,
even
I got 500 disposable gloves in my car.
Yeah.
Yeah. A buddy of mine yesterday said he just takes all of his produce bags at home and uses those. But it's funny.
He needs to sterilize though he needs to sterilize them before he uses them.
Yeah. Let me I'll grab something to share. Let's see what it is. Keep talking amongst yourselves.
Yeah.
You talk about that contactless and everything else. I was around when we first started strategizing Apple Pay.
Oh yeah.
Which is really, if you go back, it's the thing that has jump started the whole process of disconnecting from credit cards and everything else, because Apple Pay gives you that ubiquitous, I don't have to be a member of credit card X or credit card Y. I can just be with Apple. And then I've got all this other security that wraps around my identity, which is better than anything the banks and the credit card companies have. And so I was reading your article thinking back about to when we were having fun discussing the cashless future.
That's going to be convincing. And, it's going to be a job of convincing. I mean, just getting online for people was a nut to crack, just to have a website back in the day.
Oh yeah.
It was just such a weird thing to spend money on. Now and I wonder about, hacking. Is that, because it's in one spot, it's better that you can control it all. And like you said, you've got more security. But if they do get in, it's everything.
Oh, it's a nightmare. Now I can tell you the way we sandbox, which is a technical thing, the security on the Apple side, nothing is impossible to hack, but it is so complex and difficult. Where the hackers are going to go isn't to the Apple security. They're just going to go directly to the credit card of the bank because it's exponentially easier to get to them than it is to us. So that the other thing that's interesting too is that when we talked about this not so many years ago, one of the pushbacks, and this goes back to your comment about internet access and the web. There was a long time, where the conversation around the digital divide, where the bottom earners, the lowest income folks, didn't have access to the internet. Well, the percentage of people with smartphones is incredibly high, incredibly high. And that makes a move potentially to cashless, pretty cool.
Yeah. So, go ahead.
I remember, Doug, you telling me during your Apple days when we'd meet that your first people in line for the new phone was not Joe Executive or anyone like that. It was low income getting the latest, greatest, because their whole life was on that. That was their computer. That was their contact. That was their maps. That was their translator.
use their bank. It's
everything now. Yeah.
And so they're more than willing to spend a disproportionate amount of their income on that phone, even versus food or housing, because it's literally their gateway to the world.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
it's like the Palm Pilot used to be, but now it's a phone.
Yeah.
I remember, you know, I was one of those that moved from BlackBerry to, and the hardest thing was just type on glass. That was my biggest hurdle. You know, I was like, this is just going to kill me. But it wasn't so bad. Speaking of Mac, are they, I forgot what I was going to ask. I had my phone in my hand.
We'll now break for an educational commercial.
Yeah.
Everyone has Clorox, and it kills 99%. So as small as that is even smaller on how it does kill 99%. And that's back here. And what it says is you must keep the surface wet with this for 4 minutes to actually kill it.
Wow.
So all those people getting those things and wiping them and going, ooh, I'm all safe. No, you're not. You're not anywhere close.
Wow.
That thing was soaking. And the reason I know that, thanks for asking, Mike. The reason I know that is right here is a Blue Nano germ meter.
What?
And what we measure is MPSI, microbes per square inch. So, oh, now I've already lost it.
Wow.
Where did it go? Let me show you that. Let me go find it. We interrupt this commercial for one more commercial.
I've actually seen people using tinfoil at the grocery store on the
on the carts.
Yeah. I mean,
so this is crazy. So we take this thing and we swipe in a 4-inch square for about 10 seconds, and then you put it back in here, and then you pop it back and forth, and you put it in here, and then hit go, and then it gives you how many germs are in a square inch. So
that's going to be a mom tool.
Well, it is, except it's about $2,000. So
yeah, I know.
Yeah.
Take 3.
Yeah. So the interesting thing though is I did my my lunch table that I have with Governor Cuomo every day, and it measured 460 or something like that. So then I got my trusty Clorox and wiped it down. I was like, dude, I've totally killed everything because it's Clorox. And it went down to 220.
Now that's about the same amount you would get if you wiped it down with just water, by the way.
Yeah. And then, so I was like, man, that sucks. I wonder what's the deal. What is this thing broken, or is this broken, or am I broken? And so we did further testing and used 70% alcohol, rubbing alcohol, which is like death on contact. And it took it down to like 36.
Wow.
So to put it in perspective, an operating table, that's what these were used for, is to keep 5 microbes or less clean. A cooking surface should be 30 or less. So for this company thing we're doing, we're going to have a safe level of 100 or less. But, so then that was interesting. So we did keyboard. That went to 480 on just a fresh wipe. And then we did the alcohol wipe, and I got it down to 21. And then left it for 2 hours, and it went to 550.
Just leaving it alone?
No, I mean working on it.
Oh.
So my hands are that nasty.
Damn. Wow.
Isn't that crazy? So it's like, I just cleaned, because apparently I haven't done this yet. I need to, but apparently this is going to be not 500 or a couple hundred, but like 28,000 is what they say this will be.
Wow.
So
we've got one of the UVC phone things,
that works. Yeah.
So we've got one of those.
Wow.
Well, eventually here, Doug, I'll be able to give you a little moisty, and you can go and
Well,
wipe it, and then it'll always be under.
Right.
It'll always be what your cleanest was.
Right. But that goes back to, when you're on the internet and you're looking for disinfectant stuff, right? They're selling so much, that's 20% alcohol, or it's, hydrogen peroxide, or it's these other things, like you said, that if you want it to do it will do the disinfecting, but you got to leave it from 2 to 10 minutes wet to do that. The only two things I know of that are instantaneous are 70% alcohol, and I don't know the percentage, or bleach.
Right.
Right. In common parlance, not Blue Nano stuff.
Yeah.
But, it's hard. You just can't get that stuff right now.
And the UV does work. However, it's not good for you. So you can't have that on all the time or in certain areas.
Oh, we've got one of the little.
No, I know. But I mean, there's some people saying, well, we're going to put all these in your buildings or on your doors or whatever. UV is good for a moment swipe, but not for ongoing thing.
You can't eat dinner in it.
No, you can't. You
can't make that, you can't go through security and go through the metal checkpoint and then the UV scanner to disinfect. Wow. That's not going to work.
Yeah, so that's the real interesting thing. And what we've been talking about is everyone's running out now, getting everything all safe for the return, and they're cleaning and disinfecting everything. So maybe they are or maybe they aren't, but it doesn't matter because in 2 hours it'll be a mess again.
Yeah. Something I read earlier too was there's companies that are, specifically interior design and architecture firms that are going to have a service called pandemic planning. So they go into your office and they structure your workspace,
okay.
to be.
So you're 6 feet apart or whatever it may be.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's like they're, I don't know. Yeah. Who else would that absorb? I mean, as far as, a consultant, but really it'd have to be somebody that was in spatial, trade show or hospitality, or, somebody who mapped out traffic flow,
Well, I mean, Steelcase, the office furniture firm, is already offering that.
Yeah.
So, giants of, then you've got the industrial level. I mean, I can't remember their name anymore, but, I had a global industrial design firm that did my interiors of buildings at AT&T when we would build building. And they're the folks that are coming back with those kind of offers that are saying, we will, for $1 billion, redesign you to get, to go from, well, think about it. What has been the last 15 years has been the open office.
Yeah.
Right. Which is, by the way, is the biggest fool's errand in design history. But that's another entire long story. But now you have to go away from that, where you're back to the cubes with the higher partitions and, space that is easier to clean. They're talking about the changes that say, so if you guys have worked in offices, you laugh at the stereotypes, right? The guy with all the little awards, the person that has all their little tchotchkes, the plant person who has all their plants. There's always those people in the offices. New rules are you can have nothing, right?
Wow.
You got to clean your top every night when you go home. All your papers, all your stuff has got to go in a drawer so they can come through and, alcohol bomb the surfaces.
Wow. Clean your office before you go home.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, and you got people now putting in protocols that say, we're going to have planned cleaning breaks during the day,
Wow.
And I bet you guys have seen all the new designs for the middle seats, where they turn the middle seat around and they've got the plastic partition that comes up in a big S around it. There's a lot of wild stuff going on that we'll probably never see the light of day, but it's interesting.
Yeah. I've seen a keychain already. That's, it was an ad on, I think, social media, and it was it felt on your keychain, but it was a little hook, and it was designed to do stuff where you had like a little stylus so you could push the buttons on ATMs or keypads with it. And then it was a hook to hold, to pull the door open, it had a little slit cut out of it that you could do a finger latch, you know.
Yeah, they're Facebooking that sucker to death.
I know, it's just,
really? That is terrific.
I mean, I'm already kind of conscious of that. I grab handles from the bottom sometimes, or if I try to, just being in the restaurant business for a while, you kind of do that. I'm back into doors instead of touching with hand, let my ass open the door for me, just little stuff like that. But yeah, it's that bad now. They're going to sell you stuff like a cane for industrial design.
And they're selling them like crazy, the little key things.
Probably, yeah. But here's the interesting thing: things like that now all have to have a fashion aspect to it.
Yeah.
It's like not just enough to be functional. Masks, for instance,
Yeah, I saw that as seen in Vogue.
Yeah, like you can't.
Oh, good. Then I need that one.
Yeah, it'll be soon where you won't see anybody having it'd be less and less of just the regular plain mask that you see. Somebody's gonna have their own mask, designer masks, and just for their own style.
This company that sells emergency supply kits is their big thing. They just came out with wool masks, and one of the things that they're touting is the wool is safe to put in an oven to sterilize. That they say you can wash it, but then when you're done washing it, put it in your oven at 200 degrees for 25 minutes, and it won't harm the wool, but you get guaranteed sterilization, after you've washed it. And I thought that was kind of fun.
Cool. Maybe like made out of some FRC, some fire retardant stuff, they use in the oil field.
Yep.
We have to put that stuff on. Hey, Albert, how was your golf game the other day?
Well, I played today too.
Oh, today. Oh, yeah.
I played. Yeah, so I played last Thursday, Friday, and then today. It was great.
All
So
right.
much fun. It's social distancing golf,
That's right. You get your own cart.
But we walk. We get our push carts and walk.
Yeah, my problem was always I was socially distant from my group, but I was always close to the group in the other fairway. It's my slice.
Yeah.
That's COVID golf.
COVID golf.
Yeah, COVID golf. Yeah, no, it was fun. I'm going again on Thursday.
Wow. The weather's gonna be nice.
Look at you.
Well, it's free golf, so why not?
Okay.
It's like,
Can't beat that.
no, when you play with doctors that run, the doctors, I guess.
Yeah.
They get more than one, country club. They're signed up with more than one country club, so you get to play a couple country clubs.
That's nice.
Yeah.
Interesting. I heard they've added a whole list of different symptoms to your possible COVID.
Yeah.
Really?
And so I know two people. One was my dad, who in January had every one of those added symptoms.
No.
I mean, not a high fever, but a little tiny fever, zero energy to do anything, aching all the time, just could not get out of bed.
I call that being 63.
Yeah, well, yeah, it's about the same. But then, but feel like death, look like death, and everyone just said it was the flu.
I've got all those symptoms, and that's just my normal day.
Well, I think whenever they figure out a real test that's easily applied and done, they're going to find out they've had a lot of people that have already had it.
Well, and I think the other thing you're going to find out, there's been hints of this in some of the literature, is that this virus has already gone through 3 to 4 mutations. And you're not dealing with one COVID, you're dealing with COVID-19, 2021, and 22. And that's where some of this string of differential of symptomology is. You know how, when we talk about in the fall season, there's usually 2 or 3 strains that we are dealing with, and sometimes we're right and sometimes we're wrong on the vaccine. I've read some of the literature that says the speed of it. Did you just land?
Yeah.
By the way,
I was getting sick.
In space, no one could hear you throw up or what? But they've talked about that. One of the things they're worried about in the vaccine side is the mutation rate for this virus, and that they could have an absolutely terrific, safe vaccine, and it's only going to hit a very small percentage of the population because the virus will have already mutated 3 times by the time it gets out.
Yeah, they're fixing the virus from November, not from now.
Exactly.
Crazy.
Oh.
Wow.
What else? Anyone?
Saw pictures. I was thinking of Robbie, because there was an article today of, that was talking about the environment in Georgia, where essentially when the governor said phase 1 is now available, the population of Georgia said it's now 2019, we're going to go party. And they just had pictures in all the cities where everybody just went back to normal. Restaurants are slammed. Nobody's using any protective gear. There's no distancing, blah, 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 blah. It was fascinating. I mean, I hope that their hotels get lots of business, but it was just really interesting how fast that all the precautions went bye-bye. And you had Governor Abbott yesterday, doing the phase 2 thing.
Yeah.
He made that announcement, and in the announcement, he said, this means something to me, right? If you're 62 or older, stay home. Well, how do you do that?
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, tell me how that's practical, right?
That's hard to clamp down on just a segment.
Well, and I still need to work. It's you're going to see all of the spool up of delivery stuff is going to spool back down. You're not going to be able to get the same kind of home delivery on if you want Wendy's, you can get it delivered, which I don't understand at all. But I can call up DoorDash and get 1 Frosty for $27 delivery fee. But you're not going to be able to get the groceries or the food here in another 2 months because all that'll spool back down.
Yeah.
Well, the other thing that's about to happen is, some parents have been complaining about how hard it is to teach your kids and do all that. Well, get ready. Summer we're counting it down at our house. It's like 6 days away, or 1 week and 1 day or something away. And everything that you would normally do during the summer is still completely closed.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
They announced yesterday, there's all the summer camps, all the baseball activities. And part of phase 2, he opened all that up.
Well, I guess
Wow.
the ones we're looking at are closed. But the pools, the city pool,
My daughter has 4 studios.
and they're all open, or they
Well,
will
not
be.
now, but they were given the permission to be open by May 21st or whatever the date is. But that's what yesterday's announcement was that, summer baseball, summer camps, they can't be open tomorrow. So if you called and said, are you open today? No. But in a week or so, they're allowed to be open based on Abbott yesterday.
And how does she feel? I mean, she's going to go back to work, but how do her other instructors feel? Are they all cool with that, or are they nervous, or what's the thought been around that?
Just because of the finances, they've basically gone back to the owners are the only ones teaching now.
Yeah.
So they're driven in a little different way, but they're all nervous about it, but they're going to, the class size before, oh shoot. It was like 17 is all that they would put in just because of the size of the studio.
Yeah.
I think they're going down to 12. And then everybody went, and these are little tiny, you guys know this is just a homemade or a homegrown little theater business. But they're going to take temperatures every night, and you've got to wear masks, and then all the kids will clean when they get in. We'll clean the studio when they get in and when they leave.
Or you just tell them to stay home and here's a hose. Have fun.
They've talked about if you're not feeling good about that, if you're a parent and you want to pay and you're not feeling good about having your kid and by the way, no one is in that space, literally. but they said, what they're talking about doing is they will put a camera in and do a live Zoom from the studio.
Huh. Okay.
I just wrote a quote for, it's called Villa Sport out of California. They have one in Katy here. And they want to shoot a kind of like a catalog of how it's done in training, COVID training. Basically how you're going to be a trainer and work with a client as a trainer during COVID. So they want to shoot and illustrate that whole process of how you can still be a member because they're opening up, but do it safely. So, because there's no stock shots of that.
Yeah.
So I'm hoping that they'll fight off on something that's going to be worth doing, and not just a couple of shots. Like it's a big club. They have a lot to offer, but
Well, people, the thing I would, if I was in your shoes, what people want is they, psychologically in this moment, they want to be told what to do. So if they're shooting it, it should be literally the kid's picture book version of this stuff.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, we want to give you a visual of each and every movement you should make to stay safe. Don't make it hard, make it easy.
Right. Yeah.
I heard a great thing on the radio today. So apparently one of the most bulletproof animals is a llama. And a llama, and they're part of the camel family and alpaca and all that stuff. But apparently the llama just like has a gut of steel and will suck anything in, no matter how bad it is, and create an antibody for it and carry on walking down the road.
I'll be darned.
So in, I think it's Austria, they gave Winter, the llama, some COVID, and Winter the llama took it and made antivirus for it, and that shows up and all that stuff, and they're literally going to start testing that here very soon.
Oh,
wow!
On humans.
I have not heard that, and that is absolutely fascinating.
Yeah. Leave it to the llama. Man. Well, hell.
All right. Well, we can reconvene tomorrow. Maybe we'll have some more info. I just saw this. This is pretty cool. Maybe I'm late to the game, but it looks like we need to move to Australia and kind of live in the middle there.
I know. That's a great dashboard. I love that.
Anyway.
Looks like move anywhere but the U.S.
Yeah, or in the East Coast for sure.
Yeah. Russia's lying about theirs too.
Oh, so bad. They're lying.
God. Well, that's another thing that this is all exposing is like how much BS other countries try to get away with. It's like, we're all looking now. Yeah.
Yeah, but the thing is that nobody in Russia is going to see those numbers, and if you are, what are you going to do?
Amazing. See, here's another thing. How many cases does North Korea have? They're not going to give us that information, but if they've even got it, then that's a pretty good nut to crack if they've gotten it, because there's no one coming in from.
Yeah, but he could easily say everyone just stay home, period. End of
story. He disappeared for a couple of weeks too. Maybe that's what he had. Maybe he had COVID.
Well, there was a lot of people who wondered if he did, and just went and got better.
Because he's a smoker.
They said his lifestyle is terribly unhealthy anyway.
Oh yeah, he's the only fat guy in North Korea.
Really? Yeah, and he smokes all the time.
Yeah.
And
smokes a lot. Eats, whatever their version of fast food is.
So have you guys started seeing any uptick from any of your folks on events or anything? Because I've started seeing, just from my standpoint, I've seen 3 or 4 people that are now saying our event's back on, we're ready to go. Come in June, July, August. I've actually gotten invites on new stuff. Just wondered if you guys had started seeing any of that.
We've got basically at this point one in October that's still happening. But no, I was talking to French Sam today, and their government has a whole events task force team put together.
Really?
With a huge manifesto of here's all the things that have to happen. We were talking through that. And I think one of the things now that a venue or even an event has to have is a sanitation officer.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And so just checking, is there hand sanitizer at every entrance, and when was everything cleaned and how often, and is everyone keeping their whatever the approved distance is of the time?
Huh.
So,
Yeah.
but other than that, I haven't heard anything.
And none of these were big, I mean, really big affairs. They were just smaller things that I don't even know why I'm on their mailing list, but it just made me think of you.
Well, it's just like Robbie was saying, and kind of what we're seeing is that they will kind of probably start back up, but I think it'll be very regional. So you're not going to have people running to the airport, but rather driving in.
Right.
All right, guys. Well, that's all I have for today. Anything else?
No, we're good.
Nope. Back to work, I guess.
Back at it. Have a good one.
All right. Cheers to tomorrow.